Hello fellow juggling nerds. Well, I've decided to go ahead and make a head bouncing tutorial. Now keep in mind that head bouncing while juggling is not one of those tricks that's just going to click like that overnight. Okay? Head bouncing while juggling takes consistent practice. Now the first thing that you need to do before you begin your venture down the head bouncing road is find a good ball. Okay? I suggest finding a ball that is round and also inflatable. Here's a couple examples. Once you've found a good ball, the first thing that you're going to want to do is get the feel for bouncing the ball in your head just once. So I would suggest taking the ball in your dominant hand, meaning if you're righty, you're going to put it in your right hand, tossing the ball up, say 2 or 3 feet in the air, and letting it land on your head and bounce off again, and catching it, like this. Not too difficult, huh? Keep doing that, and just get the feel for what it feels like to have the ball landing on your head. Okay, so now we're ready to start building on that one bounce. So after 1 comes 2. So let's go for 2 bounces. A nice high lofty throw, 2 to 3 feet in the air, let it bounce in your head once, and then again a second time, and catch it. So keep repeating that till you're comfortable with 2 bounces, and then obviously after 2 bounces comes 3 bounces. I'd say to keep that progression going until you can do about 500 bounces comfortably. And eventually you're going to want to bring the level of the bounce down once you've got more control over it to say about a foot to 1.5 feet, like so. You also want to make sure that you don't have too much leg movement going on when you're bouncing. All it takes is just the slightest little bit of oomph with your knees to keep the ball going. So make sure that the ball's inflated enough to keep bouncing without too much leg movement. Okay, so once you've got very good control over the head bounce, it's time to start adding the juggling to the head bounce. So we're going to start with a ball. Toss the bouncing ball up under your forehead, start it bouncing, and then start just getting a feel for throwing 1 ball in the air while the ball is bouncing on your head. Okay, so when I first started doing it, I'd throw the ball up into my head and then just start tossing it up in my right hand, making sure to keep the ball in your line of vision, throwing it high enough so you can still keep your eye on the head bounce and see the ball through your peripheral vision, like so. Okay. So just start throwing up with your right hand whenever you're comfortable. Nice high throws, like so, and then switch over to your left hand. And then if you want to get a little fancy at the beginning, you can throw the ball from left hand to right hand while bouncing. Do that till you're comfortable throwing 1 ball. Now the whole idea of this is just to get comfortable of doing something else while you're head bouncing. Now make sure that you keep your eye on the head bouncing ball at all times, and you throw the juggling balls high enough to see the ball with your peripheral vision just past the head bouncing ball. So practice this for a while till you're comfortable, and then we'll move on to 2. Now I'm going to show you the way that I learned to juggle 2 balls with a head bounce. It might not be the most practical way, but it's worked very well for me, especially when I wanted to move on to 3, 4, 5, and 6 balls with a head bounce. So take the head bounce ball, toss it back up onto your forehead, start it bouncing, and we are going to practice 2 balls in the left hand or 2 balls in the right hand, whichever is your dominant hand. So start the ball bouncing, and we're going to start with a flash. Okay, now keep in mind here, something that you want to make sure that you're not doing is letting your juggling get in rhythm with the ball bouncing, which would look something like this. There would be 1 bounce per throw, and you want to stay away from that. You're going to be doing 2 separate things now. You're going to be juggling and head bouncing. So this is what you don't want to be doing. No. We want to keep nice, low, controlled throws, low, controlled bounces, and nice, high, lofty throws. Two separate things done at the same time. Okay, now we're going to go for 3 throws. And then obviously after 3 comes 4. Eventually you should build up to something that looks something like this. 2 separate things, bouncing and juggling at the same time. Low, fast bounces and nice, high, lofty throws. Now do whatever you can to keep your bouncing from getting in rhythm with the juggling, because that's only going to make it more difficult in the long run. When you're ready to do tricks, start bouncing the ball in and out of the pattern and adding, going up in numbers in props. This is another exercise that I practice quite a bit when learning to juggle 2 balls in one hand, and it helped me a lot when I moved up to 3. Is you're going to juggle all 3 balls like this. And when the bounce ball gets to your dominant hand, you're going to toss the ball up onto your head and keep the 2 balls going with your non-dominant hand, like so. Okay, now we're going to do that on the other side. One more time. Practice that for a good couple weeks till you're very comfortable, then we're ready to move on to 3. Okay, looks like we're ready for 3 balls with a head bounce. Now obviously we already have mastered 2 balls in each hand with a head bounce. So we're going to build on that and work that into the 3-ball juggling. So instead of really trying to explain this, I'm just going to show you the way that I approach 3 balls with a head bounce. So we're going to put the ball up in motion and move on from there. Okay, the whole idea of this exercise is to get the feel of crossing the pattern when you're juggling. So you're juggling 2 balls in one hand, and when you're comfortable and ready, you're going to make that cross and then go into 2 balls in your other hand juggling. Get that under control. When you're comfortable and ready, you're going to make that cross again, eventually building up to the 3-ball cascade, which will look something like this. Nice high lofty throws with low controlled bounces. Not too difficult. I'd say practice that for at least a couple months, or at least till you can do it for about a minute straight before you even thinking of going on to moving on to 4 balls.